You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis on all things sports. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, subscribe to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports, and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Are you looking for a place to listen to your favorite music and sports? Look no further. WLSN, the Lieb Sports and Music Network, is a web-based music and sports network. Our network was created to provide authentic, high-energy entertainment through live streaming to a national audience. We play popular music while hosting podcasts from all over the world. Curious? Check us out on the web at liebsports.com. That's LEEIB sports.com. Or find us on the TuneIn Radio app. Got Alexa? Just say, Alexa, play WLSN on TuneIn. WLSN is America's #1 blog-themed sports and music network.
Hey, everyone in, let's go. Huddle up on 3. 1, 2, 3, huddle up.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night. If they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm going to take every last one of you out. You make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans.
Extremely proud of you guys on your focus and your ability to lock in all week long this week. So, what I'm going to do now, okay, because you're going brand new at football coach.
And now, welcome everyone to the Huddle Up Podcast.
We did it our way, baby! We did it! We did it! We did it!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Huddle Up Podcast. We are live Tuesday, January the 11th, 2022. The regular season behind us. The playoffs are in front of us. Alabama is not the national champion. We'll touch on that.
Aren't you happy?
I don't have it as like a full topic, but we can touch on it here at the start. Kyle will be joining us hopefully in a little bit, but to my left is none other than Ernest Christian, EJ Christian 7. How you doing this week, buddy?
What's going on? Playoff time is here, and my team's not part of it. Oh well.
Well,
sort of.
One of them.
How many teams I have in there now?
Two of them. I mean,
46.
The
Dolphins out, Giants out. I think the rest of them got in.
Chiefs got in.
Chiefs got in.
The alleged Cowboys, which are the
Cowboys got in.
Patriots
Bucks got in. Patriots in.
You're an Eagles fan since you like Jalen Hurts, so
odds are forever in your favor, EJ.
Yeah, I can't lose, man. Come on.
Matt, down below. Matt, how you doing this week, buddy?
I'm doing well. Picked the Georgia -3 and the under yesterday, so I did very well.
Oh wow!
Well done, sir.
A nice little parlay for a Monday. It had me sweating there because it was at 52 and they finished with 51 points.
Gamble. Yes.
Thought maybe the meaningless touchdown might come in there at the end.
You were afraid either Alabama was going to bust a deep one or they were going to throw up another pick six.
Yeah.
And that game is they're just throwing up prayers. Like, and every time Nick Saban calls a timeout in the end of that game, you're probably like, come on, dude. Like,
it's over. It's over.
Just let's end this thing.
4th and 23. You don't need to call a timeout.
And that's the bad part of gambling too, especially is that part, like the stuff you don't account for. That's why this is also why I hate betting the NBA. I love the NBA. You know that favorite sport of all time. But there's so much nuance in that sport, and that's why I don't gamble on it. Football kind of has that. Like what happened last night could have been disaster for Matt in terms of the parlay. So.
Yeah, no kidding. You know, the thing about last night's game and like just in general is like I'm happy. Obviously, I'm happy Alabama didn't win. I'm just so sick of seeing Alabama. But the SEC title game turned out to be the anomaly. Like, it was Georgia's worst game. It was Bama's best game. And like we were talking about last week, how is Georgia a favorite? Well, maybe somebody knew something we didn't know. Maybe they were just going off of the odds that Georgia had played so well for so long, and it worked out. And
we kind of should have known though a little bit too. But the way the whole seasons went anyway, we probably should have had a clue that way. Maybe this could actually happen.
Right. That the thing that doesn't seem obvious, because that's what we were talking about last week, is the obvious thing here is Alabama's going to win. They won a month ago. Nothing about that game was close enough to make me believe that Georgia's going to win. So you're right. Okay, we should have known. We should have known last night's game was going to go the way that it did, but it did not. Georgia, for the first time in over 42 years, I think it was, is champion. So congratulations to them. But really, a lot of this, the talk tonight is going to be in the NFL, and we start with what is a unfortunate for some, and for other fans, maybe a somewhat happy time. Although you're celebrating somebody losing their job, it is what it is. But Black Monday in the NFL, it started on Sunday with Vic Fangio and the Broncos. It rolled into Tuesday, and we'll see if we're done with it. But as of today, the Broncos fired Vic Fangio on Sunday. Monday, the Vikings fired GM Rick Spielman and head coach Mike Zimmer. The Bears fired GM Ryan Pace and head coach Matt Nagy. The Dolphins fired head coach Brian Flores. New York Giants GM Dave Gettleman retired. And today they fired head coach Joe Judge. Really, guys, I think the only surprising one here, if we're talking about it, is the situation with the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
As it's kind of come out, it seems there was kind of butting heads between management and the head coach, and in those situations, unfortunately, the head coach is not gonna win out. That one was the surprising one. I was shocked when I read it. Brian Flores is going to be, I would imagine, as long as he wants to be, he's going to be head coach somewhere in the NFL next year, right?
Yeah. I would be surprised if he wasn't.
Yeah.
Unless, like you said, he doesn't want to.
Right. Oh, no, he has a meeting with the Bears, I think, tomorrow. He's number one on the list. And I also wonder, with the New York Giants reacting what they did today with Joe Judge, because of a guy like Flores was available, that maybe they changed course. I think the Giants had every intention of keeping Joe Judge for another year. But then between them and maybe guys they would reach out to take over a GM spot and saying that they wanted to bring their own guys in there, and probably saying, well, no, thank you, then whatever. And then the pool of coaches available, because of, let's face it, some of these guys are actually not bad coaches. Like, they're just in the wrong spot. I think Matt Nagy's not a bad coach either. I just think, with everything that's going on in Chicago, there's a lot of pressure and that he didn't fall through. But I think he's a decent coach. So I think like a guy like Matt Nagy or Brian Flores, who both had winning seasons, in their teams, in the last couple of years, maybe the Giants saw that. It's like, you know what? Maybe we should change course here and go for broke. So.
Yeah, I mean,
possible. It also is amusing, though, that the Giants see themselves as an attractive destination to a promising candidate.
I mean, yeah, we joke about that. Really honest. I mean, obviously, we're all NFC guys. You Eagles fan, Jim Cowboys fan, I'm Giants fan here. Legacy wise, yes, it's obviously there's a legacy with the New York Giants, but no, they're not attractive. That to me, I was asking a text earlier today, what is the worst job right now available? I said the New York Giants job, because I don't know what the direction Tish Amara is. Yes, they made the right move by getting rid of Joe Judge, but what's next? They need to shake shit up.
I would say, and I know I poke fun, the Vikings job I don't think is necessarily very attractive either. Both situations, you're probably tied to a quarterback that you might not want to be tied to. Chicago, you at least have a rising star. The Dolphins, if you believe in Tua, then that's an enticing option. The Broncos can at least make a pivot for a new quarterback, but I don't see the Vikings or the Giants situation really changing unless the Giants go all in for Wilson, which I think we've talked about, and I don't know that necessarily improves that team because you're using a lot of assets to get someone in one of the 6-7 positions that you need to address.
I mean, the one advantage in Minnesota is you're going into Kirk Cousins last season, under contract. So, like, yeah, you're going to be tied this year to a quarterback that you may not necessarily want. But I think
it's the same with Dimes too, right? This is his last
rookie
deal.
Rookie deal, yeah. So, yeah.
Which that's going to be easier to find themselves out of. The thing with Minnesota, I think that the more troubling thing for Minnesota is more you're looking at a defense that a couple of years ago you were saying, man, if this offense found itself, this defense is dangerous. That defense looks old at times.
Yeah, it does.
That defense has gotten burned and exposed. Like the offense is coming around. You got Cook, you got some other young running backs. You have a great young core of receivers. That the offense I don't think is necessarily the problem. I mean, outside of a quarterback that can't win after the sun goes down. But I think if you put the right pieces in there, Minnesota's a fine job. Denver has potential. But
need a quarterback. Their quarterback being a contender, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, again, great receivers, great tight end, great running back. The defense is fine. The Bears situation is a huge problem. Matt Nagy lost his job because the Bears front office has made poor choices and put a lot of money where it shouldn't be and didn't put money where it needs to.
And to be fair too to the Bears front office, they did the right thing also. If you're gonna get rid of Nagy, get rid of Pace also too, and they did that. So you got to give them credit for identifying the larger problem. It wasn't just Matt Nagy, although I can argue Matt Nagy deserved maybe another year, but Ryan Pace was definitely the big problem. He's the one that drafted Trubisky in the first place. So I mean, Denver is a quarterback away. Minnesota has one of the best rosters in football, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't think Kirk Cousins actually is a bad quarterback. It's just the value when he's getting paid versus the return is a problem.
Yes, he's not worth the return. Correct.
Right. That's the issue.
I 100% agree. Out of all the open jobs, the only other one we didn't talk about is Miami. I mean, they were, a win or two here or there from not only being a playoff team, but potentially running that division. So Miami has pieces in place. Verdict probably still out on Tua a bit.
A question.
But without a doubt, I mean the Giants' job out of the available ones is the least attractive. Because,
I mean, you also have to think though, going in, Miami and Chicago both do not have a first-round selection next year, so that's another knock on any incoming coach is going to come in and be like, well, I don't have much that I could do with this until round 2.
You say draft picks. The one thing the Giants do have over all these teams that they have 11 picks in this coming draft. 11 picks. Because that first round pick the Bears, you talking about the Bears not having, that's the Giants pick.
Right.
So you have options here. So once you can bring a guy in with a vision, we can see where he decides to place those picks at. So
absolutely. Yeah. So and that's where I think we were making the point a couple of weeks ago where, like, yes, is Russell Wilson an upgrade, potentially at the quarterback position for the New York Giants? Without question. Like, I don't think there's anybody with a functioning brain in this country that loves football that is going to make an argument that Danny Dimes or Mike Glennon or Jake Fromm is a better choice at the quarterback position than Russell Wilson. But I think the issue is if you're going, whoever's going to get Wilson is going to give up a good bit to get him. And I don't think it's worth it for an organization that needs so much.
Right.
To go all in on a guy who's what's Wilson 34
33.
Okay,
put him behind that decimated O-line they have with losing your draft stock to rebuild that O-line is the issue. I would say.
I don't think it's worth it for the Giants in really in the short term or the long term, because he's not going to be a long-term option, and in the short term I don't think he makes them good enough to make it worth what they're going to give up.
And to be honest with you, also, I'm not going to get too excited about the Russell Wilson thing until I know what's going on in Seattle, because everything is hinged on Pete Carroll. To me, it's just simple. Yeah. Pete Carroll's still there next year, Russell's gone. Okay, if Pete Carroll is not there next year, Russell stays. It's really that simple.
Well, I think it's as simple as if Carroll's there, Russell's gone. I don't necessarily think it could be as simple as Carroll gone, Russell stay. Like, you know what I mean? Because there could be a possibility that it's like, look, we're going to get rid of him. We're going to get rid potentially. You know, I know there's been talk about the GM,
Don Schneider,
in Seattle potentially being out as well. So if you're doing that, and this is the worst season you've had in over a decade, why not clear the entire deck? You know what I mean? So that could be the argument there. I mean, everything could be shuffled.
And that opens another debate now about why would you go back in the first place? It's still in his prime. I mean, that's a whole other argument. We can have that today, next after the season's over, whatever.
That can come and go as the postseason plays itself.
You don't grow on trees, buddy. That's what I'm gonna say.
Kevin, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're having a good week.
He's not. His Dolphins fired his coach.
Wow. I mean, besides that, hopefully he's doing better, but better than he was yesterday. Let's put it that way.
I mean, so of all the open positions, what do you think is the most appealing? Like, if you're a head coach and you can pick any of these, which one are you taking? Like, fandom aside, I know EJ would probably be like, I'd love to take my Giants in the right direction, but like, if you are looking at these with no bias, what's
Denver?
Denver. Okay.
Denver. It's easy. They're literally quarterback away, and I mean, I don't know their salary cap situation, but if they can go after Russell Wilson, they go after Aaron Rodgers, depending on how that shakes out. They go after even a Garoppolo. I mean, they are literally a top 15 quarterback away from being in the conversation. Because look, the AFC West was pretty good this year. I mean, they were only
that's a tough division.
7-10 is not that bad with their issues. You know, you division with Kansas City. The Chargers are underwhelmed this year, but they're still really good. The Raiders play much better than we thought they would be this year. You know, the fact that they were frisky. Yes, they were. No, but seriously though, I mean, Denver has a fantastic roster. They had a great roster. They're literally a quarterback away from being in the mix.
Yeah, I think the Broncos, if not the best job of the NFL, best job available in the AFC. For argument's sake, I'll go with Minnesota. Because you can make some moves, boost your defense a little bit, maybe get creative with the Cousins situation, or bring in somebody behind him that is going to potentially take over in a year, or you kind of target next year as the quarterback year. You maybe write off this year a little bit. Not that I don't. Again, it's not that you can't be successful with Kirk Cousins. Let's not kid ourselves. Jokes aside, Kirk Cousins is better than some quarterbacks who have won Super Bowls. So it's not, you're not saying that you can't win with him. It's a matter of putting pieces around him that look, you get a handful of primetime games. If you chalk those up as losses because the guy can't win in primetime, you can still win 10, 11 games and potentially be in a playoff spot and
where he's in that primetime game.
Right. I will say though, in the Minnesota case, I was a little surprised that they fired Spielman too, because Spielman, I think he's done a good job actually as a GM there. And I think with him being gone now it's a bigger question about direction. I know Spielman has done a fantastic job with it, keeping that good roster there. They obviously underwhelmed last couple of years, but they've nice roster on some pretty average quarterbacks. Case Keenum, Kirk Cousins, we'll see where this goes now with Spielman being gone as well too. I mean, Spielman should be a hot name for GM as well too. I'm the Giants. I'm looking at him especially too going forward.
Matt, how about you?
I think I'm probably still going to look to Jacksonville if I'm getting my.
That's right. Jacksonville doesn't technically have a coach. They weren't part of the Black Monday firings, but.
Right? Because they're disgraced a month ago.
Yeah. Lest we forget.
You have some nice pieces in place on both sides of the ball there. You still have some draft capital. So I think Jacksonville is at least on the right path. Plus, you have the number one pick, I believe, right?
Yes.
2 years in a row now. So you can kind of do whatever you want. You can even trade down, and a lot of teams have multiple first round picks. You can look to to just restock because you probably already have your QB and enough defensive O-line pieces that you're not going to use for a number one pick on it.
Yeah, and you're in a bad division too. So
Yeah.
Right.
that's actually a pretty nice spot. Another one that's going to be interesting to watch, like we talked about Seattle, is what's going to happen with the Raiders, because technically their coach right now is an interim coach. Now, especially like if they go into this weekend and win a playoff game, I would be hard pressed to believe that they're going to make a change. But the Raiders could potentially have an opening
That's true.
as well. But let's look at this one. This is actually I think like yesterday or the day before.
Mhm.
Like my wife brought this question up to me, and she asked, like, because everybody always talks about who like the best quarterback is, who's the MVP, and like who's the worst. Like, it doesn't necessarily be a long topic, but who's the worst in your mind, starting quarterback in the NFL? Like, and I almost want to say don't talk, or who has like the worst starting quarterback situation. Like, I don't necessarily want to be like, look at a team like Carolina who had Cam Newton starting. Like, he's not technically their starter. Like, if a starting quarterback got hurt, but like to you guys, does any team stand out as having the absolute worst starting quarterback situation in the league?
Washington.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like because that one it is kind of a toss up between Fitzpatrick and Heineke.
I don't mind. Heineke's not bad, not horrible, but he's not your answer.
He's not your answer, and he's probably their best option.
Right.
So if your best option is not your answer, then you're in a tough spot. I mean, there's other places that are probably similar to that, but I think that Washington just has no real direction with what they want to do with quarterback too, because it's been so long. Beyond them, I would say Pittsburgh, just because Ben's likely done and they've never planned for his heir apparent.
Right. I would say the Steelers are the worst one too, because the Steelers, not knowing where they're going to go. Ben's going to retire this year. Let's be real. but where?
I mean, as of right now, let's at least say he's not a Steeler next year.
Right.
Like I would be shocked if he comes back, but like at the very least, he's not a Pittsburgh Steeler next year.
No, right. I agree.
And so sitting here now, what, Mason Rudolph is the backup?
It's terrible.
Seeing how that's gone.
Yeah. No, but and the thing with the Steelers too is that they're not bad enough to draft a high pick, a high quarterback in there. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. I mean, they're here because of Mike Tomlin, that defense. So I would say the Steelers definitely one of the worst ones. I would say the Saints also too, but Jameis is, he only got like a couple games out of Jameis this year to see how he was. So it's kind of unfair, I guess.
I think the verdict's out still with them. Yeah. I mean the Giants, just because Daniel Jones has just never panned out to be what I think they wanted him to be.
Right. I don't think it was horrific. I don't think it was as bad this year as he was the previous couple of years. He did stop the turnovers and stuff this year, but the offense was just so basic, and
he's still not the answer. I don't.
No, and if you look at what they spent to get Daniel Jones, he vastly underperformed for where
absolutely
he was.
Without question.
And like I part of me wanted to keep coming back to the Cleveland Browns. Like I know Baker's not that bad.
He's not Johnny Manziel bad.
No, good God. I don't know if there's a lot of people on a list of quarterbacks that could be Johnny Manziel bad. But like when I look at the Cleveland Browns, and I get Baker was hurt half the year, but if hurt Baker is better than your second best option, that's a problem. But I'm like, I look at that team and I go, they should be like better, right? Like, and I've said it for a couple of years. He is the problem, the biggest problem, I think, in that organization. It feels like Baker Mayfield. So like, while he may not be the very worst, I think out of the ones listed, he may be holding his team back the most.
Well,
so
he is.
It's similar to the discussion. It's similar to the topic at hand, but yeah, Matt, I think you do bring up a decent point with Washington, and that because
But here's the thing, though, Jim. You're 100% correct on the Browns, and he is the problem because that roster. We will come into this year saying that was the best roster in football. He is the difference between them, going to the AFC title game and them missing the playoffs. The fact they won 8 and 9 with that guy being as bad as he was this year, I think should speak volumes to how good they could be with a better quarterback. They're 8 and 9.
My criticism of Washington too doesn't tie into the fact that they didn't spend a lot to bring in Heineke. So it's not like he's a sunk cost. I mean, Haskins is, but Heineke is not. So if we're looking at what was spent to bring these people in, I mean, the Eagles are free from Wentz, but he was clearly not going to be the answer there in Philly, and that was a huge sunk cost to them. And now it looks like it is to the Colts.
And that's an interesting one too. And I don't remember who it was, but somebody on one of the morning shows yesterday said that what Carson Wentz did over the last 2 weeks was he was brought in to not do what he did. And he basically kind of lost 2 games that the Colts shouldn't have lost. You can argue the Raiders, okay, frisky, whatever. That Jaguars loss,
that was embarrassing.
That's one of the worst losses in the NFL. I would say the worst loss this year. I can't think of a worse loss over the last couple of years. All you have to do is beat the worst team in football.
Second worst team.
They're the number 1 pick.
The Giants are worst team in football still. They're fucking horrible.
I'm not, but on paper, the worst team in football. Okay, they're the bottom of your division.
They literally have nothing to play for.
Nothing
except pride.
Literally nothing to play for. And you go in and not just lose. You lost bad. You got beat up by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like
Wentz looked bad in that game too. Like there's been games where they've lost and Wentz has still had some mistakes, but at least put them in a position towards the end where he could have gotten the win. That game, he just looked completely lost. Like the fumbles, the interception was horrid. Throwing that into double coverage when he had 6 seconds to sit in that pocket, it was just that was like the Wentz that I think Eagles fans were hoping. They were like, were we right to move on from this guy? And that game, I think, gave the validation that yes.
Yeah. Kyle, welcome. How we doing?
I'm good, man. Listen, and by the way, I'm gonna bring this in real quick on it too, because I'm a talent and I can catch up immediately with our resident AJ Hawk stand-in. What's up, Matt? I have to say this up front. You got to give the Jags a little credit for, containing Jonathan Taylor, right?
Absolutely.
Like, not only did the Colts get knocked out of the damn playoffs, no one, and I mean no one, is talking about Jonathan Taylor as an MVP candidate anymore, are they?
Nope.
Can't help but notice that. Please carry on, sir. You were doing great. I just want to make sure I made that point and sounded credible as a Jags writer.
But, I mean, so I feel like, and not that Carson Wentz can't be better. We've seen him perform better. But I think the Colts, and again, what you gave up to get him.
That's the thing.
That is I feel like there's an argument there that they're in one of the worst quarterback spots.
Not question.
In the league. But Kyle, the question at hand, worst starting quarterback in the NFL / worst starting quarterback situation for a team.
I mean, Baker Mayfield makes the discussion, right? But
we did hit that. I hit that hard.
I mean, and to speak to the Wentz point, which is, again, Matt, you're on point. This wasn't me correcting you. This was augmenting you as an entire event of failure. And then my dumb ass realizes it was a quarterback question, so I sound like a jackwagon. But I was looking at a YouTube. I was down the YouTube rabbit hole the other day, and they were talking about the Eagles and the Bears playoff matchup before the double doink, right? And they were doing a recap of kind of the state of the Eagles, and they're like, And Carson Wentz was on his way to an MVP season. I'm like, and I'm doing my best Owen Wilson over here. That's right. Wow. See, in radio, that's what we call good production. Anyways,
I mean, they're off by a year because that was
the year
after his MVP season.
Yeah, no, it was a lead-in. To their credit, they were setting the table. Yeah, no, you're right. The double doink was the following. You're absolutely correct.
Wasn't it the game that gave us 11? The angry Bears fan coming out of that game. 11.
As bad quarterback situations go, I mean, Wentz is a good point. They are stuck in Cap Helen on that. But I'm also, it's probably been said, but I'm going to be on the bandwagon. Call me a homer, having written for their wire for 2 years for USA Today. But the Dolphins quarterback situation, little challenging. Like the whole campaign was allegedly tanking for Tua. They really weren't. But, and now where are they? Now Coach Flo is out there, fired, and this team's in a place. And their quarterback is not what he should be, and their O-line still can't protect him.
And they're double committing to Tua now. They're committing to him even more, based on the optics here.
Yeah, I mean that could be why Flo was fired in the first place.
Correct.
And reportedly, the guy that they thought they wanted, they're not going after. Although that could just be PR speak and what have you.
In fairness, the Dolphins were never linked to the scuttlebutt. Right, I think he was coming out and killing the narrative. To your point, maybe they're doing that just so Harbaugh's people don't come at him with, hey, well, for 3 Brinks trucks every year, maybe you can have him.
Yeah, like that never happens when it comes to coaches in the
college. Exactly.
Anyway. It's usually only 2, not 3.
True. Okay, let's go to this one because we kind of touched a little bit on it actually when Kyle came in and entered the chat. It is MVP and Coach of the Year because these are regular season awards, and since the Jaguars snuffed out the discussion of Jonathan Taylor into that conversation, Kyle, we'll start with you since you are fresh on the air tonight. Who is your MVP for the 2020?
Fresh on the air, but fresh out of edition financial arena, having covered the UCF Lady Knights, but I digress. Yes, for the black and gold banneret, you're correct. Listen, for my money, you don't have to like him, but it's Aaron Rodgers. There's fleeting morons that look at stat sheets and numbers and say, well, it's got to be Tom Brady. There's 2 things about it.
Don't talk about EJ. He's right here.
Well, I expect for you when he says Tom Brady to play his theme song when he does it. I'll give him a chance to get it right before I talk masses of diarrhea dung upon him. But every time I've talked trash on him, usually he said something in the past to have earned it. Right, Cowboys fans? Anyways, he's heard him say correct, right? But all the above to say, Tom Brady has numbers maybe, but Aaron Rodgers has the situation, right? For one, Aaron Rodgers was never shut out. Even when he came out and was completely awful in week 1 and the team was still getting tuned, he wasn't shut out. Okay, so there's that. People want to talk to me about Brady's receivers being injured. Yeah, that's adorable. Unfortunately, they were so stacked. The bottom of the barrel was Antonio Brown. That should tell you plenty. Okay. And then lastly, any situation that people want to point to where Rodgers struggles, no one holds Brady accountable for his defense while Rodgers usually is. At the end of the day, I got Aaron. As for the coach, this is tough. Honestly, last week could have changed all of that. Like if I don't know, for 1 minute there, I had Belichick in the conversation because of Mac Jones and all that. But at day's end, I don't see how you don't give it to Zach Taylor, honestly.
All right, Matt.
I'm willing to hear arguments.
Sure.
I'm going to agree with the MVP pick that Kyle presented, as much as I dislike him as well.
My God.
It's tough to really go against what Rodgers has done, all with a broken toe. But on the coaching side, I will disagree solely for the hurdles that they overcame. I have to say that Vrabel would be getting the nod from me, just in terms of what they were able to do with the injuries that they faced. I mean, Henry went out. We all thought Titan season was done, and they are now sitting at home for the first week of the playoffs, waiting to see who their opponent will be. So that to me is enough to give him the nod.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can really argue with credibly with that is their schedule's complete and utter shite.
Right, and that's fair.
You know, but that's not a bad pick. As much as Titans fans are idiots that think they should win the Super Bowl, you know.
They invaded. I clipped a piece of colonized conversation about the Titans last week on my YouTube page, and fucking Titan fans are fucking.
I saw you. You got the people of Tennessee hot and bothered, EJ.
Like probably Clay Travis's followers. I don't know. Maybe
I feel like I don't know if it's. I don't know what it is. If it's something in the air in Tennessee, because the one time, couple of years ago, I think it was when Tennessee had the Volunteers had those gray uniforms. Like I just commented that they were uglier than sin, and
they are awful.
Like the mentions on my Twitter, like I don't know that I've ever evoked a reaction like I did when I dare speak against the heinous gray and orange uniforms that Tennessee wore that day.
And please be clear, he knows heinous reaction. With all respect to our AJ Hawk stand-in, this is a Cowboys fan, and his rival boos Santa Claus, and he's commenting on your eye. Okay.
All right, EJ. Let's see.
I will. Okay, well,
coach of the year.
Aaron Rodgers is the runaway MVP at this point now. I mean, not even a conversation. If we're having this discussion right now, if you're going to be a bum like the
like the Titans fans. He said the Titans fans. That's what he meant.
God damn, I fucking Mike. God damn it, dude.
You don't have to bring up the guy, the stupid writer. We
or Kush. Fuck you. Aaron Rodgers MVP.
We talked about how dumb he was last week. It's okay.
Why are we even evoking his name? He doesn't deserve it. I don't want to give him that power.
I feel like doing that. But
EJ big mad.
The bigger argument is the coach of the year. I agree with Kyle. It's Zach Taylor, but to me, it's a 2-man race between him and Mike Vrabel. Now, I find it kind of funny that like when I mentioned Vrabel last week on the show, you gave me shit for it.
I did. I mentioned that he was not as good a candidate as Zach Taylor and Belichick. But if it's your choice, I can't help you from that point.
I mean, Matt made my point here, and I made last week. Vrabel,
he did it better than you. Next question.
So that's what it is. Okay, whatever. I will say though, like when you get past those two guys, though, there are guys I think we should mention that should at least get some love.
Get Sean Payton out of here.
No. I'm not saying that they're in the. I'm not saying in the top two.
Kevin James, you mean?
Kevin
Correct.
James.
Thank you for saying I couldn't remember the dude's name.
I mean, Mike Tomlin did this year. Mike Tomlin did this year with that fucking team. That team shouldn't even be. That team shouldn't even been 500 this year, much less a playoff team. Okay.
And how many years in a row has he been? Has he concluded with a winning record too? On top of that, I know it's just for this year, but that's a factor.
Single year he's had a winning record.
It's all 15 years, right?
That's correct.
Really?
So, I mean, to me, Tom's conversation. Sirianni in Philadelphia should be something mentioned as well too.
No, he shouldn't.
I would say Sean Payton should be mentioned to some degree only because of the quarterback carousel we had. I mean, come on, that Ian Bookstore game. I'm not saying
he's part of the reason he's there. Okay, you tried to burn the orphanage, and now you're saying he's cool for putting out the fire. Stop it.
I'm an Eagles fan, and I'm not putting Sirianni in that conversation.
Why is that?
I mean, at this point, based on what the Eagles did to get in, I mean, they were picked to be a lesser team, I admit, but they didn't really go through a murderer's row to get into the playoffs.
They did their job.
Thank you. And doing your job isn't enough to be the coach of the year.
Hold on. Like, I know we like to dunk on EJ, and believe me, we'll do that even more. But like, are you saying that like these guys should be mentioned like in the conversation for Coach of the Year, or these guys?
No. You have okay. So like to me, the race is really two guys. It's the two guys you mentioned, Vrabel and
it's honorable mention, basically, right?
the guys that we should be mentioning that did a great, fantastic job this year. That probably would have gotten some looksies, at some point. But the other two guys were just far away more impressive.
Okay. So if you're saying they deserve,
Sirianni did a really good job, especially go back to his introductory press conference. That fan base was ready to fire him that day. And they have him and he got him to the playoffs with this team in his first year.
Well, I mean, if a fan base is a judgment for who should get it, hell, the Eagles would have had coaches of the year for the past 5 years, right? No offense, man.
No, they wouldn't have. They call for the firing of their coach every year. Do not follow Philly fans.
That's what I'm saying.
Brutal.
To have survived that. To have survived that.
You know who's on the conversation? Joe Judge.
I mean,
great. In other news,
he's my coach. He's my coach of the year, and
he should have been given a 5-year extension.
That's the Giants.
I'm in Dallas.
I am bummed out that he got let go.
Let me get my Red Tails fan on the phone. I bet he'd agree too.
Yeah. Look, we know how I feel personally about number 12, but he's the MVP without question. It's when you're looking at football on the field, he's the MVP.
Okay.
See, if you had this on your soundboard, which you need to, I wouldn't have to voice act it. You may not like it, but accept it. Okay.
Watch,
man. Can I steal that from yours, EJ? Do you have that on there?
I wish I did. I wish I had that. Seriously, I wish I did have that.
I am the inspiration. What can I say except you're welcome?
And coach of the year for me, same thing as I said a week ago. Like, to me, it's Zach Taylor. Like, Belichick did a great job with New England this year. Absolutely,
great job.
They were supposed to be good, right?
Great.
When we came out of last year, it was this team should be fine next year. Everybody should be back. The guys who took the year off for COVID will be back. They almost made the playoffs a year ago with everybody that was out. The Patriots were supposed to be fine. They're in the playoffs. They didn't win the division. The Titans, yes. Best player on their team went down, was out for most of the year. They are the number one, they're the number one team in the AFC. But again, that division's bad. The schedule was bad, and they were supposed to be good. So, like, congratulations.
This is a team that was nearly swept by the Texans, Jim Neese. Just saying, Matt.
Well aware. They are still the number one seed, right, wrong, and different, no matter how they got there. But to me, being at the top of your division, that's where you were supposed to be. The Bengals
right, Chiefs fans?
But top of the fucking conference, though, Jim?
But
come on now.
When you're already at the top of your division, okay, that means you're probably, 10 wins or better, at least. So now you only have to get a couple more wins, and they did that with the aid of a terrible schedule and a Chiefs team that ended up not being.
Although they
beat the terrible schedule, they did beat some quality opponents.
The Rams, they beat the fucking Bills. They beat
the Jags, beat the Bills. Who gives a shit?
Chiefs 27-3.
Everyone was beating the Chiefs the first half
I was
of
going
the
to
year.
say a lot of people were beating the Chiefs at that
point. Twice when we thought the Colts were good, which obviously turned out to be a little bit more a dud at the end. I'm not making a case for Vrabel to be number one ahead of Zach Taylor, but I think you're. Let me just say, I push back on the Brady thing to some degree, though. Not so much Brady being the MVP for you, but it's not the whole without question part. It's definitely a question.
No, it's not. Because listen, if you look at the actual team and stop stuffing numbers in everyone's face,
that's what I'm saying. I'm pushing back on Jim's Brady pick. It's wrong. I think he's
picking Rodgers.
Oh, you said Rodgers?
Yeah.
I listened to Brady. I'm sorry.
I said number 12. I know. Look, I know when people mention number 12, EJ, you automatically think Tom Brady. My apology. I should have remembered who I was talking to. That's on me, guys.
See, gentlemen, one of you is a lover and one of you is a fighter. Okay, when I hear 12, I know that there's going to be a cavalcade of politically driven, angry tweets about Quayron. Okay, when EJ hears 12,
you get me, Kyle. You get me.
I mean, when I hear 12, When I hear 12, I think of Chris Chandler, but this is me.
EJ
No,
can't
you
stop
don't.
rating I Heart Tom in his composition notebook whenever he hears the number 12. So that's on me. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP.
In your defense with the Chris Chandler comment, early in the days of the student of the game where I was just in print, I did call him the immortal because of how long he played at the time, which is kind of a joke considering what Tom Brady's doing now.
Yes.
So yes, to clear this up, Aaron Rodgers is my MVP without question.
4 for 4 is what he's saying.
Okay, good. It should be. Yeah.
And look, to coach of the year, I'm not saying Vrabel didn't do a good job, and it's not good that they got the number 1 seed, but they were already supposed to be, at the very least, they're the division winner in that division. So, like, to me, the job that Zach Taylor did in Cincinnati is better and the best job by a head coach in the NFL this year.
Correct.
That's my point. That's all I'm saying.
Because Jamar Chase was supposed to be a bust, and Joe Burrow was supposed to be, in a trauma center by this time this year, right? And over and above that, some writers, including one in particular who writes for the 3pointconversion.com and previewed the AFC South, predicted this team to win 11 times. So if the argument is they just did their job, which they did, I'm going to have to evoke the Chris Rock defense. What do you want, a cookie? Okay, so no.
You play to win the game.
I tried to be peaceful about that.
Yeah, but again, we keep downplaying the circumstances, though, how they got there. Like, again, Derrick Henry is their best player. Derrick Henry, prior to injury, was on this MVP list. The short list, by the way. Top 2 or 3.
He's questioning.
Okay, so you lose Derrick Henry. We sat here on this panel. We sat on my podcast saying that Titans are fucked. And I didn't want to see the goddamn fucking conference.
Okay, beating who? The same thing we bring the Broncos down
the
for.
Rams, the Chiefs.
The Rams,
twice,
when they were sketchy. The Chiefs, who were sketchy for the first half of the year.
Their fault, they're sketchy. We play my game and play their game. That's it. I mean,
what you've done, though, is you've penalized a team that actually plays real teams. It's not so much that we're holding anything against Vrabel per se. It's that we are awarding bonus points for people who did a harder thing.
Or I might have. Okay, look.
I mean,
By the way, they beat the Chiefs when Derrick Henry was still healthy.
But we're also then ignoring that the Bengals beat the Ravens without Lamar, beat the Browns once without Baker, once with. I mean, you can tell me which one is better. They beat the Steelers with Ben being a shell of himself at this point. So
anyone who beat Pittsburgh this year beat Ben within a shell of himself. Okay, but they took the Packers to overtime.
The Titans
game
lost
they probably
to the Steelers, by the way. So.
And the Titans also lost to the Chiefs, which the Bengals did not.
Wait. Who?
No, the Titans beat the Chiefs, but they did that. But they did that with Derrick Henry.
That's what I'm trying to make sense. They beat the Chiefs.
So the first game without Derrick Henry was the Rams. So they beat the Rams, Saints, lost to the Texans, lost to the Patriots, beat the Jaguars, lost to the Steelers, beat the Niners.
I'm sorry, did I hear a loss to the Texans in there?
That was a loss to the
Jets too. Lost to the fucking Jets.
And
who did?
So yeah,
Bengals did.
The Bengals lost like badly too, right?
To the Jets too.
Okay. They're even on that. What do you want
as you said, we all had bad losses, so that washes that away too. You said that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And if you use your rules, division games are frisky, right?
And by the way, also too, the Rams loss, that ended the Rams streak. That was the game that ended the Rams winning streak. So this is saying.
Okay, so the Bengals lost to the Bears with Andy Dalton.
Now, is that when the Bears were
week 2? Around that time, close to it. Fucking
squeaked past the Jags by a field goal. Got annihilated by the Browns, 41-16. Yeesh.
But you're going to try to tell me that the Browns are any bit
I'm just saying if we're making this
having the Texans and Jags 4 gimmies on your schedule and you blow at least one of them.
Right, but I'm saying if you're knocking schedules, you can't point to the Bengals schedule and then say, look at what these guys did.
I'm not banging the drum that the Bengals had the best schedule in the NFL. All I'm saying is the job from where the Bengals were supposed to be, from the beginning of the year and predictions and all that, and where the Titans were supposed to be at the beginning of the year with projections and all of that. The coaching job to get the Bengals to winning that division at 10 wins, to me, is a better coaching job than.
I completely agree with you.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Let's add this. We keep talking about the Titans at the top of the the conference. Are they there because they're that good, or because some teams underperform?
Well, again, and this goes back to my whole argument the last couple weeks about the Titans being, when you add a Derrick Henry factor, the environment in the AFC, by default, they are a contender. I've been saying it for the last couple weeks now. Now, place those motherfuckers in the NFC.
By a playoff contender, you mean?
No, super contender. Because after Chiefs, who you really putting your nose out for in the AFC?
So that means they're fifth because the AFC is bad. No, you keep putting them down the line behind NFC teams. That's what a power ranking is.
My point is, though, the Derrick Henry factor changed everything again. If Derrick Henry was not healthy, they're not in my top 10 probably, despite number 1 seed.
Well, let's not go overboard here.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
Teasing, aren't you? You fuck.
Jason, I see some of your comments here. I'll get to them as we work through some of these the playoff games throughout the rest of the show here in terms of Cowboys 40 and 49ers questions. So since I think we pretty much, we definitely all agree on the MVP. We're probably never going to agree on Coach of the Year. So let's move to the playoff games that begin this Saturday night, or I guess afternoon if we're talking on the East Coast. Raiders at the Bengals, who are a 6-point home favorite, 4:30 on NBC and Peacock. The Raiders with the field goal heard around the world that Steelers fans were sweating that one out. Chargers fans were just praying that something went their way. I'm going Bengals here. I mean, the better team should win at home. So give me the Bengals. Maybe if the Raiders get tough, not frisky, on Saturday night, maybe they'll cover the spread. But I'll take the Bengals plus, and I will take the over. EJ.
I like the Raiders on the points, actually. I think the Bengals win this game, but I like that. This is a field goal game for me, honestly. And I'm taking the over. The over is actually the bet here, honestly.
Matt.
Yeah, definitely liking the over. I will take the Bengals minus the points since they have the Coach of the Year. And play the tougher schedule.
Fair enough.
Glad you came on the right side, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, we have cookies here on the dark side. We'll make sure your lightsaber's the cool one. That's the Claymore with the two by the handle there.
That's all I ask.
Kyle, how about you?
I'm going to shock the world here. Zach Taylor's my Coach of the Year, and I think the Bengals should outrank the Raiders in the power rankings. However, I believe the Raiders to be a more balanced and complete team. I believe they have a better defensive front. Wow. Yeah, I actually had to voice act that today, recording the Football is Awesome podcast, because EJ lost his mind when I said that I am picking the Raiders, not just to cover, but to win this football game.
I didn't agree with you. I was shocked you actually went that route.
Yeah, well, no, right. Again, the wow wasn't that you disagreed. You were just like, wow, because you're just so surprised.
That was awesome. Earthing Podcast Network.
Bing. So, take the over. Sure as hell.
Yes.
I'm even going to guarantee that Jamar Chase has at least one big play, and that's 40 plus in the football game. But at days in, I'm asking for Joe Burrow to impress me now. I'm picking against you. Make me look dumb. Do something EJ can't do.
I mean, I think Jason is a good point here. Like Raiders kind of got nothing to lose. Like you get in the way that they did. You have it's still technically an interim coach.
Right. It's the whole momentum thing, And listen, I'm a Neil deGrasse Tyson fan. What do you need to stop momentum and equal an opposite reaction? And I don't think the Bengals O-line has that.
fair. All right.
Science smack, bitches. What?
Let's go to Saturday night, 8:15 Eastern time on CBS and Paramount Plus. It is the Patriots at the Bills, who are a 4-point home favorite. 43.5 is your over-under here. I haven't checked the forecast. I don't know what the I mean,
You're saying it's going to be between 0 and 5 degrees.
Okay, like I mean, cold was going to be the obvious one. I didn't know if there was going to be wind and or like snow or anything like that. Wow. The Bills the Bills are playing. I think the Bills are playing. If we're talking about the momentum and all of that, I think the Bills are riding a bit more of that going into the postseason than the Patriots are. I'm gonna fuck it. It's not like I'm putting money on this thing. I'm gonna take the Patriots to win, pull the upset in Buffalo.
Wow.
And God, as ugly as this sounds, the under for me, Kyle.
Oh, with that temperature, the under is perfectly acceptable. Listen, I was trying to do all sorts of mental gymnastics in my head. I have something in this game that I have not had in an extended period of time. A desire to root for the Patriots? What in the flying hell is this?
You're crazy.
Okay. What's that? Yeah, exactly. But at the day's end, no amount of mental gymnastics gets me past the facts. Mac Jones is doing an excellent job. Probably a Rookie of the Year candidate at the very least. And Bill Belichick, Coach of the Year candidate, even though people want to try to tell me about the Titans beating the Jags twice and losing to the Texans and nearly losing to the Texans twice, is impressive. So for me, I'm picking the Bills, but Jim's right on with the under. They just don't have enough offense to keep up if Josh Allen gets hot.
All right, very good. Matt?
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the under on that one. And I like the Bills minus 4.5. I think that's a pretty solid pick.
All right, EJ.
Well, the forecast is a big deal here. As long as it's not windy like it was on Monday Night Football about 6 weeks ago, the Buffalo Bills should actually win this fairly comfortably, honestly. Definitely love the under this game. Buffalo cover as long as it's not windy. The Pats have been playing kind of last couple weeks, man. I don't like where they're going the last couple weeks. Matt Jones has not separated himself since that hot, middle of the year, surge. Buffalo not playing particularly great either. I mean, that Jets win, the win over the Jets was not really as impressive as you think it was. That score was not indicative of how that game went, honestly. But Buffalo is the better team overall, so I'll take Buffalo as long as the conditions are relatively okay. Obviously be cold, but give Buffalo cover, and I like the under.
A wise man told me a better team should win at home, and that's the axiom. I'm feeling it. By the way, you notice how for this game, everyone suddenly became a damn meteorologist?
I mean,
that's how the first game played out. I mean, it definitely, factors somehow.
I mean, you don't got to work at the Weather Channel to figure out Buffalo in January equals cold.
And here's the thing also, too. The Pats, there's no way how the Pats can, they can't do the whole Mac Jones 2 passes, 3 attempts, 2 completions, 3 attempts thing. That is not going to work this time.
It's the same thing as we all become program directors for a television station whenever Kirk Cousins has a game. What time is that scheduled?
Yeah.
The best one.
Absolutely. All right. Then we go to Sunday, 1:00 Eastern time on Fox. It is the Philadelphia Eagles at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are an 8.5-point home favorite. 49 is your over/under on this one. I think the Eagles are actually going to cover the 8.5. They can run the ball.
Interesting.
And Tampa Bay's been having some trouble stopping the run. Who knows what condition the Patriots passing game and offense as a whole is going to be in this one. So I think the under is a safe enough play. The Buccaneers are going to win, but I think this one's going to be a little bit closer than a lot of people think it will be. EJ.
I do agree with you about the run, because that's the only chance they have to win this game, honestly, to keep it close. But I'm going to take the Buccaneers to cover 8.5 ultimately. And I think I'll take the under as well.
Matt.
I'll take the Eagles and the points, and I will take the over just because I think Tom will throw for a few touchdowns as we get later on in the game as well.
All right, Kyle.
I mean, I'd rather see the Lions too. Any opportunity to see Man Campbell coaching is a win, so that's a great point by the comment there. But at day's end,
I'm 40.
I should have known that one was coming. That's my bad. That is bad programming by me. Excuse me. I'm kind of in a place where I'm going to bet against the Eagles, regardless of the 8, even though I'm not a degenerate. I'm going to do something that's based on a statistical anomaly and more on a gut feeling, which is something you never do when you gamble. But reading past the numbers, I think turnovers are going to be a factor here, whether it's Jalen Hurts or Gardner Minshew, because we have a hell of an advantage on the table in favor of the Buccaneers with that defensive front versus their O-line. But Cal, they're bad against the run, and I'm sure they are. What I'm talking about is whenever Jalen Hurts goes back to the sports ball. Thank you, Ryan. Go eat some crinkle cuts. Anyways, so at the end of the day, I feel like there's going to be a turnover or two in favor of the Buccaneers. I think they're going to, or Gardner Minshew, whoever's playing. I think there will be takeaways. I mean, Matt, I don't know, is Hurts cleared and all that?
Yeah, he's playing.
That's what I thought.
Just didn't play. That was just because last Saturday didn't mean anything, right?
Right, and yeah, I didn't know because I mean he's a mobile quarterback.
They should have all their running backs back as well, from what I'm hearing. So Sanders and Howard.
Right on. Yeah. So, and I mean, listen, this isn't me dissing the Eagles running game, but I feel like at this point, listen, stack the box. Let's see if Jalen's can hurt you. Okay. See what I did there?
See what you did. I like that. Jason says $38-13. Wow.
Damn. The disrespect.
All right. I will back up to a question Jason had here in a second in reference to this game. It is the 49ers at the Dallas Cowboys, who are home favorites. 51 is your over-under. This one on Sunday at 4:30 Eastern time on CBS, Nickelodeon, Amazon Prime, and Paramount Plus. So plenty of options to see the big one and big D on Sunday. So before we get to
D again, it's a D.
before we get to the predictions, Jason says after Dallas loses to the 49ers, questions will be asked. If not, Dak, Zeke, and Cooper. What do you change to the Cowboys?
You can't change anything. Dak's on a contract, dude.
I was going to say they just re-signed Dak, so yeah. He's not going anywhere.
The only one that really I could see maybe being maybe released or something is Zeke. That is it.
Yes, Kyle.
I have the correct answer, and it's none of those three.
McCarthy?
It was just a few short years ago. No, that's a good guess. It was just a few short years ago, Jim, where I called into Huddle Up before I was estranged from certain places, where I came in and called you and said that the Dallas O-line should have been a collective MVP last year or that year. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time ago.
That was a few years ago. I think that was before I was in this version of the studio.
Most certainly.
If memory serves.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. I say all above to say this. As much as I have lauded, celebrated, and praised the Cowboys' offensive line, the old gray mule ain't what she used to be. You need to draft some beef. In Texas, a state that's supposed to be known for the beef people, if you will. You don't have enough on your football team. Fix it.
Yeah. It's that. I mean, you look at the biggest problem. I think Zeke's gone regardless of what the Cowboys do in this postseason.
Yeah.
Because I think, the writing was on the wall most of the year. Tony Pollard's a better running back right now for that team.
And to Zeke's credit, he took it with grace in the press.
Yeah, he did.
Absolutely. The Zeke from a maturity standpoint this year, with all of that going around, is not the Zeke I thought we would have had a couple years ago.
Rookie Zeke never would have handled it that way.
Absolutely not. So he's matured in that way. I think he's gone next year, regardless of if the Cowboys win 0 or as many playoff games as they play this year. So, because it's too big of a contract and there are pieces that need to be fixed. with that roster either way. So I think he's gone. Cooper, I don't remember how many years he has left. But what? And here's the thing: whether the Cowboys win, lose this week, win, lose next week, win, lose the Super Bowl, there's always unless the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, and even then, there would probably still be talks about what needs to change. There will always be talks about what needs to be changed with the Dallas Cowboys. So.
Hell, if the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, people are more likely to leave because the players can ask for bigger contracts that the Cowboys couldn't afford in their best day.
I mean that's true.
You remember Larry Brown? Larry Brown after winning MVP 96, 95 rather? Yeah.
Nicely done. Well played.
Well played. All right, to the game this week.
Homer.
No, I'm actually picking the 49ers. I don't have confidence in the Cowboys at this point. I don't. Over the last month of the season, they're trending in the wrong direction to me. 49ers will cover. 49ers will likely win. I will take the under because if the Cowboys are not going to win, it's probably because their offense is going to ill perform like they have been as well. Kyle.
You know, the most unfortunate thing about your answer, Jim, is you've taken to a habit of EJ's and you're copying my paper. A team.
But if I say it first, aren't you copying mine?
That's the trap. I had it written down first. You just said it first. And dang it, it doesn't matter unless you say it on the air. That's the problem. Anyways.
That is how it works.
I know. But the thing I will add is any offense who's featuring first a tight end, then a fullback, then a receiver who's good at doing everything else as well as receiving. And Deebo Samuel, I mean, how do you think it's going to happen? You want to know what your X factor is, Jim? The player you need to be watching the closest? Jimmy Garoppolo. If he makes mistakes, you have a fighting chance. However, since I have no reason to believe in the Cowboys defense at this point in time, and since I have no reason to believe that the Dallas Cowboys offensive line, of which we made a point to say they aren't the same grade mule, Bosa is gonna Joey Bosa is gonna do things. That's what I'm saying. So yeah. Oh, by the way, the under is an excellent pick by you, and the 49ers cover.
Matt.
Yeah, I definitely like the under. I think a strong defensive game by the Niners there. You've probably heard me say on the show a bunch of times I'll never pick the Cowboys. However, last time I was on the show, I picked the Cowboys to beat the Cardinals. What happened? Cowboys did not beat the Cardinals, so the Cowboys are going to beat the 49ers.
Logic. I see a logic.
Hey, but I see Jason. I see that Jason has them covering for you, EJ. Or EJ. I am right, and Jim.
Oh.
Cowboys fans.
Oh, Matt, well played, EJ.
You know that Jack Nicholson meme? You know, when Jim was saying, admitting it, I was like, "Yep, come on." And
Am I doing it?
Yeah. Again, Dallas has been inconsistent since this November. They've been inconsistent. I know they won 51 points against Philadelphia, 56 points against Washington 2 weeks before that, and all that. But in between that, they lost to Arizona. So you get one great week and then one bad week, one great week, one bad. And you come into playoffs. San Fran's the wrong team to play this time now. Remember, this team was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. You forget that. I mean,
if you were a Giants fan, you would make this connection, EJ. They remind me a lot
of the Giants.
Of that team that went through and gave the then undefeated Patriots a giant loss.
There's a lot of actually, yeah. This is, I mean, you'll see the power rankings later on how high I have the Niners, but
yeah, that broke my neck.
This is the most dangerous team in the NFC right now. Look, I think Green Bay is better than San Francisco, but San Francisco will give Green Bay fits.
We've seen historically.
Yes, this year we saw that.
I mean.
Rodgers it took Rodgers to pulling a magical out of his ass, 32 seconds, down the field.
It took Rodgers doing Rodgers. No, I get it.
So when you look at trends, San Fran's going this way. Dallas is kind of, Dallas could win this game. Let's be real. But I'm thinking I think San Fran wins this game, and the under is the best bet also too.
In related news, Jason
says, "Ernest, buy this guy Niners jersey. Tell him to go shirtless. Man, I don't know what your kink is, man.
Oh my!
Whatever floats your boat, there, guy.
Hey, you're the one that has a D on your head.
I think no, but honestly though, I think that's true. No, but seriously though, you watch that Niner game against the Rams on Sunday, and they were down 17-0. The way they played with so much heart in the second half. I mean, to me, that said a lot.
Either of those Rams games, Ernest Julius
Right.
Christian.
Right. You know, and it's one of those things where like, wow, when this team is on the same page and they, I mean, they're dangerous, dude. They're dangerous.
So they went from not top 10 to most dangerous in the NFC. All right, we'll get there.
I tried to tell him, but he didn't want to listen.
On Sunday night, 8:15 Eastern Time, NBC and Peacock. The Steelers go to Kansas City, who are a 12.5-point home favorite. 46.5 is your over under on this one. Chiefs plus under.
Like really, we're talking about. Yeah, come on now.
I don't know what else to say about that. This team,
like honestly, like come on, like Chiefs. Let's go. Chiefs cover under.
Oh, they're the best team in the NFL, right, EJ?
Goodbye, Big Ben. Enjoy retirement. Next,
Matt.
I think for Big Ben's swan song, he will put up enough of a fight to keep him within 12.5 points. So I would take the over on that, but the Chiefs are not going to lose to the Big Ben-led Steelers.
All right, Kyle.
I mean, what an anticlimactic scheduling. But this is the damn last game of the playoffs.
I will be sleeping.
That's not, though. We have a Monday night game.
Yeah, we got a Monday night game. This
which is actually, I think, even worse.
I agree.
Yeah.
It has, at least has potential. This one
has two teams that backed into the playoffs harder than any other teams backed into the playoffs facing each other.
Probably a joke in there somewhere, but let's move on.
So you got Chiefs and under two, Kyle?
Oh yeah, Chiefs will rock it. And as much, listen, I like Big Ben, the quarterback, but at the end of the day, unless TJ Watt forces 2 turnovers, I have them covering too.
Okay.
All right. Then Monday night on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPN Plus, it is the Cardinals at the Rams, who are a 4-point home favorite. 8:15 Eastern Time. 50 is your over under. On this one, the way that the Cardinals have been playing, to me, it should be like an easy Rams plus. The big factor here is Matthew Stafford going to make mistakes, and we've seen him making some poor decisions and making poor throws over the last few weeks of the season. Maybe the Cardinals cover 4. I'm going to take the Rams to win, but man, give me the over. Just give me some points on a Monday, Kyle.
I hate to quash your optimism, but I don't see it going like that. Anybody remember when Carson Palmer was the Cardinals QB and they got smashed by the Carolina Panthers?
Yep.
It's going to be that game. Cardinals will get smashed just as much. I have no belief in the Cardinals. I went from banging that drum and trying to defend them to them slapping me in the face for doing it. And at the end of the day, Aaron Donald is going to remind us all how he's going to be contacted by the MCU in the offseason to do motion capture for the Juggernaut. I got the Rams.
Matt.
Yeah, I'll take Rams minus the points. I will take the over. I think this game we might actually see Matthew Stafford's arm fall off with the amount of times they're going to throw the ball.
EJ.
The over's a lock. This might be the lock of the weekend, the over on this game.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of all the games, this is the best bet of the weekend, the over in this game.
We lost you. Plug back
my
in.
bad. My bad.
But he was humming. Da, 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 da.
The trends are that both teams going the wrong way. So which team do you trust more going into the situation?
Who do you trust?
I'm gonna take the Rams there, I guess. You know, I mean, they've shown to be a little more consistent.
We lost you again.
Da, 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 da.
Fucking Rams cover barely by 5 points, whatever.
Before we get to tool time, Does the Monday night game? Because I've seen a lot of people like complain about. Does the Monday night game hurt the winner? I assume the winner will end up playing on Sunday the following week, and maybe even the late game next Sunday. But I've seen a lot of people complaining that a team gets a shortened week in the postseason.
I don't like it for that reason at all. For that reason, I don't like it. For the reason I don't like it.
What's that?
For that reason alone, I don't like it, and it does hurt the team. It does hurt the winner. Absolutely. It's one less day. One less day of practice. A rest.
Whilst I get that, the late game Sunday is supposed to compensate for playing Monday, and if they're actually doing that, that's nice. But nothing's going to beat another day to heal. And oh, by the way, if you're the last game Sunday to compensate for Monday night, you still have a disadvantage compared to the other teams because you're flying out red eye on Sunday or the next day, right?
You're on a road game, right?
Now if it's
I mean, if the Rams win, they stay at home.
True, but theoretically,
they're the 2 seed, so they're
not. No, not.
Rams are the 4 seed.
The 4 seed.
So Rams are the 4 seed. No, they're going to road.
They would. Well, they would be home. They wouldn't have a travel home after this game.
Well, who won the division? They're traveling either way. That's true. You're right.
So
unless there's an upset,
unless something happens where one of those lower seeds actually win a game. I think, unless something plays out where,
like the Niners that everyone picked,
right? Lower seed. No.
If you were a boxer, Matt, like no one would see your effing jab coming. You would have more knockouts.
So in Philly, so let's say Philly actually beats Tampa. San Fran beats.
They're not. So let's
hypothetically.
Then they would play the Packers probably.
They'll play the Packers. San Fran beats Dallas. The Rams will play the next lower. So they'll get home game again.
That's the only way.
That's the only way.
Right.
Yeah. So the Rams. So what you're saying is the Rams are traveling for the second round. Is what you're trying to tell me.
Correct.
And if you're having to fly west to east on Sunday night, anyway.
Correct.
Correct.
I mean, and I guess maybe that is why none of the NFC games are on Saturday, because that would give the potential opponent an extra day of rest compared to the Rams. So
that's smart. I think that has to do with TV though, but that's a good point.
Probably as well, but
being content and trying to stretch out advertisers. That's the only reason they do it for. Come on now, not for the players. Come on now.
Oh, the NFL's doing it for money, you say?
Yeah.
Shocking.
What? Are you implying that football is a business?
EJ, how dare you?
Maybe Kirk Herbstreit was right in that nobody cares about the game anymore. No one's driven to play. No one loves football.
I'm implying that football is a business and football is also awesome.
Joe Buck yourself.
All right, let's do this. We've teased it, so we might as well. I didn't know we were even doing this.
We're doing it every week. We're doing it.
But hey, content's king, right?
Proof that EJ is a glutton for punishment.
Don't act like you don't love this, EJ. Don't even try to act like you don't love this.
You see how he's playing the drums up here so he can like touch himself while he's drumming,
All right, it is the weekly power rankings for one EJ Christian 7. We will start because I had to make 2 graphics this week because you made a 14-team ranking at the top.
Can we do a sad 5 first, or we have sad 5 still, or no?
Absolutely, we're doing the sad 5.
Do that first, out of the way, since they're all.
Hey!
What the hell kind of show do you think this is?
Tool time.
Doesn't mean you host the damn thing.
No, I don't.
Absolutely, he does. I don't think so, Jim.
I don't think so, Tim.
No, it even sounded like he said Jim.
Let's start with the bottom 5. EJ, go ahead.
Giants are too high.
Dick. Well, let me say here, Carolina. Congratulations, you finally made my bottom 5. A couple weeks still. Bottom 5, of course. You guys are terrible. Texans 29, 30 Jaguars, 31. Yeah, come on, New York. Come on, let's go.
I mean, I will say this, and Matt, I don't often disagree with you, and I don't mean any disrespect. They did fire Joe Judge, so that put them back up to 32.
True, they did get a small victory.
Yeah, but see, that's why I'm saying they're too high. They pissed me off enough by firing Joe Judge.
No, what it should be is 31 Jets, 32 Alabama, Georgia, 33 Georgia, fucking New York football, goddamn Giants. Next question.
Listen,
I don't know why you're so mad, EJ. You're not a Giants fan.
Right.
I'm a frustrated Giants fan. 10 years of ineptitude. I'm so over it.
Oh, you poor thing. You won 2 Super Bowls in the last decade. You poor thing.
Again, I've been saying for the last year now, I strongly believe that we sold our soul to Satan to beat Brady twice in the Super Bowl, and now I'm paying for it.
Can Jerry Jones sell what part of his soul he has left to somebody?
That is long been sold.
Can he sell Stephen Jones's soul? Can he sell somebody's soul?
In Jerry's defense, lately he hasn't sold souls. He just has drafted well. Unfortunately,
he's done a good job. He has backed up a little bit.
Well,
Jerry,
go back to the glory days when your players were probably selling cocaine. Just do something, please.
You don't know what Micah Parsons' personal life is like? I'm kidding.
Damn.
Damn. All right, let's go to the top 14. EJ. Go ahead. We're at the bottom at 14, and let's work our way up.
Me, you okay, guys.
All right, I'll read it. All right. So you got Steelers 14, Eagles 13, Raiders 12, Patriots 11. Then we move into the top 10 with the Bills, Cowboys, Cardinals, 49ers at 7, Bengals at 6.
Cardinals 8 is way too high.
And then we move into the top 5, the Rams, Titans, Buccaneers, Chiefs at 2,
too high,
and the Green Bay Packers at
too high. Hot damn. Okay, sorry.
So let's look at 11 through 14. We'll kind of work in this in chunks. Is there issues whether too high, too low with 11 to 14?
You guys.
The Pats should be higher than the Cowboys. So if the Cowboys were 12th, 13th, or 14th, I'd be down. But I'm not, because it's not what's happening here. But within those 4 teams, like the Cowboys should definitely be in that bottom tier. I don't care where you put them; they just should be.
Okay. And you would move who into the so if EJ has the Cowboys in 9, and you're saying the Cowboys should be in the 11 to 14 group, who are you moving into the 11 to 14?
The Pats.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I don't think the Cowboys are a top 10 team.
I would put the Cowboys at 10 probably, but I'm moving the Bills and Pats up, and the Cardinals would probably be at 11 for me.
Okay.
I don't dislike that.
Yeah, I can't much argue against that either.
This
time a month ago, I might have had a problem with it, but
your frisky Raiders are only at 12. The level of disrespect after you bang the drum for the Raiders for so long.
All I said that they're going to cover against the fucking Colts.
No, you said frisky multiple times.
Frisky.
He would say frisky multiple times. He would say frisky multiple times for a high school team playing the Bucks. Okay.
Get over frisky.
You want to know what frisky is? First of all, new rule: if you're using frisky for anything other than a team that's logoed by a cat, you're already wrong. You want frisky? Frisky was against your Colts by the Jags. That's frisky, bitch.
That was really frisky.
That was borderline offensive, is what that was.
It was disrespectful.
Jason has his Cardinals too high, Rams too high.
Okay.
I don't know.
Rams at 5 is.
I agree. Cardinals too high. I don't know if I'm willing to go Rams too high.
This is the thing I go back to. Like, if it's too high, who are you putting there?
Yeah, right. Well, that was my question. Are you putting the Niners that high? I can't sign off on that.
Not yet.
Yeah, not right now.
But I might put the Bengals ahead of the Rams.
Okay. Golly, I don't know if I could do that.
I mean, I guess the argument there is that the Bengals are maybe playing a little bit cleaner football going into the postseason. The Rams are making mistakes.
Neck and neck right now. So
so I think maybe they're kind of they're interchangeable.
I'm making the case for Jason here. I'm fine with things the way they are, but if we're moving the Rams out, then and putting the Bengals in, I'm not going to argue with that.
That's one spot, whatever.
Right. The only team if the Rams too high, then the only team I can see going there is Niners. Honestly, I mean that's serious.
Which we're not ready for. None of us.
The Niners, to me, the Niners are the record. But to me, the eye test shows me that this is a team that can go on a heater.
Listen, Jason, EJ thinks you have a frisky argument, but we're not going to sign off.
Right.
And then top 5. Are you? I mean, you're not. I know you're not comfortable, Kyle. At least with the Chiefs at 2.
The Chiefs and the Titans are both too high. The Chiefs need to be where the Titans are, and the Titans need to be behind the 49ers. Yes, I said it.
Brady's number 2, right? Brady number 2. It's Bucks 2.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I mean, who else going to put there? You put the fucking Bengals there.
Well, I'm good with it. Yeah.
So Bucks at 2 for you, Matt. Bucks at 2 for you also.
Yeah, I would say that.
Chiefs 3 at least.
Nope.
Who's 3?
Well,
I don't have the Chiefs ahead of the Titans. I'd probably, man, I don't know.
Because if
I'm not putting the Titans at 3 though.
Damn straight.
Absolutely not.
Are you Titans at 3 also, Cal? Oh no.
No,
no one's Titans at 3.
Who's 3 then? I thought the Chiefs who's someone either.
I'll put the Rams at 3. I'm comfortable with that.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, because at the end of the day, they have. I know they played some weird football, but at the end of the day, they're the most balanced team in my mind. And
I know
the running backs back.
Again. Now, Matt, you were here last week though, but again, this is my whole thing with the Titans. Like the Titan, to me, it's the whole Derrick Henry thing.
Here we go.
Him being available now, him getting the bye week on top of it now. It changes the entire conversation. No, it does. You're right, but it changes the entire conversation in terms of the Titans. It's like it's by default in the AFC that they'll be a contender. That's all.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
That's the reason why they're high. Derrick Henry.
Yes, and you're high for putting them there.
If Derrick Henry was out for the year still, they'd be probably in the bottom 5 and probably closer to 10.
Like Derrick Henry doesn't make their defense better.
Correct. Thank you, Jim.
Like Derrick Henry doesn't stop Ryan Tannehill. I mean, he's probably not going to be throwing the ball as much, but he's not going to make mistakes. Like
ball control keeps the defense off the field longer, so he does improve them in that way.
Yeah,
correct.
That's what
again, it makes them better. I even you're trying to use that word makes contender by default. I don't even know that I'm willing to sign off
because there are no runaways in the conference.
There's no which means they'll be eliminated by somebody inferior, or if they get there, they're not a contender. It's going to be a blowout game in the Super Bowl, the first blowout Super Bowl we've had since Peyton Manning got worked by the Seahawks.
Yeah. Well, last year.
All right.
So basically, what you're trying to do is you're trying to put Notre Dame and Manti Te'o at number 4 overall. Don't do that.
That is a disgusting act.
Come on.
We're having a great night.
We were dunking on EJ, and then you just got to go get nasty right at the end.
Good save,
Can I get a "You Need to Leave" clip, please?
Where's that one?
You need to leave.
I don't think so, Jim.
One more question here from Jason. He said, what teams you feel would beat the number 1 seeds in each league? So
anyone can beat the Titans. The Titans are the suspect of the 1 seeds.
Correct.
So
take your pick.
Chiefs, Bills, Bengals,
Pats.
Patriots. Are we saying the Raiders? Steelers? No.
No.
I'm not.
No.
Steelers already did.
The Titans have been horrible against the Steelers the past few years because they can't stand up to the defense.
No, I gotta agree. I mean, the fun thing is that the better teams in the NFC, but the AFC, No. The Bears in the NFC. Who has a harder path to the Super Bowl? The Titans or the Packers? Who has a harder path? An easier path?
The easier path is
that's difficult to comprehend.
Wait, who has an easier path to the Super Bowl? The Packers or the
Titans?
The Titans.
I mean, the Packers will be playing more talented teams, but they are also a more talented team.
Right. I mean, it comes down to how great do you think the Packers are? Like, if the Packers, like, are the clear cut best, and like, so let's look at it this way: who in the NFC can beat the Packers?
The 49ers. But that's a matchup problem. It's not so much they're a better team.
So
Buccaneers probably can.
Buccaneers can.
That's going to be a hell of a shootout.
So the likelihood is that we're going to probably, if the predictions work out to be true, Tennessee will play Cincinnati in the second round.
Okay.
I'll
take
Cincinnati.
One of us went a different direction, but as a consensus, you are correct.
Well, right. I'm saying
correct.
They're going to draw the worst team in the bracket.
I'm just setting the table, so if I'm right, I can laugh at all.
Well, I mean, either way, Tennessee would be playing the winner of that game.
Correct.
To me, the term Super Bowl contender means I see you in a championship Sunday. If you're in the Final Four, you're a Super Bowl contender. That means you're literally a game away from the Super Bowl. So to me,
Teo's Notre Dame was in fact number 2 in the nation. That's true.
Right. So
number 1.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yes, that team was number 1 going into the.
I keep
BCS
forgetting. Thank you for reminding me, guys.
Notre
Dame fans.
If the Bengals lose to the Raiders will probably be the lowest seed on the bracket because there's no way in hell Pittsburgh's being Kansas City, which means Tennessee draws the Raiders. So basically, the Tennessee Titans have the easiest path.
The Titans, again, any given Sunday, anybody can win.
Oh, yeah.
Steelers aren't beating the Chiefs. So the Titans will play either the Patriots, the Raiders, or the Bengals, because it reseeds, right? They play the low.
Likely they're playing either the Raiders or the
Bengals. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, if the Raiders beat the Bengals, give me the Raiders over the Titans. Give me the Bengals over the Titans.
Wait. My frisky Raiders also be in the conference championship now? Wow. Interesting.
Shut your butt.
I mean, if
we're putting this in a hypothetical.
Right there.
Yeah, and for the record, I have them losing to the Bengals. So
I do as well.
So
I don't.
And so do
I
you.
still think they're frisky, EJ.
You didn't even pick your own frisky Raiders.
Like
technically he didn't pick them against the Colts
My
either.
point is the teams that are clearly better than Tennessee, though, they won't have to face the parts of conference championship Sunday. So that's the thing. The path is a little bit easier. So to me, it goes back to the whole default move. Conference Super Bowl contender means you're playing.
Wait. You just made a false statement, though, EJ.
What do you mean?
We put down the list that the only team that won't clearly beat the Titans, although we could see a path, is the Steelers.
Right.
That's the point. You're talking about clearly this. No, clearly the Titans can be beaten by all of them. That's our point. There is no clear path. The only reason why we're not confident in the Packers is because of a matchup problem they're going to run into with the 49ers. That's it.
So you guys really see a scenario where the Bengals are playing championship Sunday?
Absolutely.
100%.
Okay. Interesting.
Absolutely.
I hope it happens for the record. I hate the Titans, so I'm not even defending them. I'm just saying.
Here,
I don't know why you hate the Titans. Of all the teams you love, what did the Titans do?
Just a very random hate.
I'm defending them all the time. I'm not defending them. I'm just defending where they are. And I'm using logical feelings.
In his defense, gentlemen, as somebody who's worked for EJ 9 years, according to him, he does tend at times to track a player and then become a fan of that team. That's how he became a Patriots fan, as he was all up on Tom Brady. Now with Derrick Henry, you got the same anomaly to a lesser extent. Like, I don't think he's going to have Derrick Henry take him to dinner and serve him alcoholic beverages or anything.
Right.
But that's what's happening here.
Nice explanation there, Kyle.
So then in the NFC, let's start at the bottom. Would the Eagles have any chance to beat the Packers?
No. Eagles
beat the Packers? No. In Lambeau? No.
Hell no.
Right, because that's the other factor is you're going to Lambeau in January.
So it's likely that the Packers will play either the Rams or the Cardinals.
Right. But the question from Jason is, does like what teams could beat the number one team? So I'm running through the list. In the AFC, we said anybody could beat the Titans.
Correct.
So now in the NFC, Eagles, yes or no?
No.
Okay. Kyle, no, I assume.
That would be how's that song go? Hail to the no, hail to the no.
I don't have that one, but I have
no. Hell no.
Well done.
49ers.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Cardinals.
No.
Yes.
Wait.
No. I got it backwards. Cardinals is a no. I beg your pardon.
Okay. I was going to say.
It's a no, but if Arizona fixes your shit this week, man, anything's possible. A best Arizona team couldn't actually give them a game.
So no.
Wait, how long's DeAndre Hopkins out? The rest of the year?
Conference championship, most likely.
So no. Rams.
In Lambeau.
In Lambeau, it's going to be tough, but Stafford's played in Lambeau before. He hasn't won there.
Yes.
But he has the experience, at least, and a better cast of characters with him this time.
Stafford's played in the cold. Beckham's played in the cold. Von Miller's played in the cold. Like
I'm going to say no, though, because the Rams aren't a tough team that easily supplants the Packers, as we've seen. So I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say
the question: could they or would they? Obviously, anyone could. The Rams probably could.
Right.
The question was, what teams do you feel would beat the number one?
Okay, so no, they would not.
I'm going to say no as well. To be honest with you, I think the only team outside Tampa, of course, is San Francisco.
I'll give the Rams a yes. I think I'm not locking it up, but I would give them a good chance of beating them. Cowboys, no.
Hell no.
I've seen that game far too many fucking times.
No. Tampa.
Yes.
They did last year.
Yeah.
Well, over and above that, I feel like the Packers are better, are a bit better, and they're enough of a bit better to make a difference in that game, right? Because that game came down to coaching issues, not talent. Right?
Right.
So at the end of the day, I'm assuming Matt LaFleur can learn his lesson and make
right. And I think also too, this is the best Green Bay team. Now look, we got to see what happens in the playoffs, but for what we've seen this year alone, this is the best Green Bay team I think we've seen, even as well, if not better than the Super Bowl team in 2010. The balance is what makes a difference. They can run the ball now.
Right.
So
true. So then the final question before we wrap up. In terms of teams getting to the Super Bowl, looking at the number one seeds, because I apparently got Matt's attention on Twitter earlier today. Do the number one seed Packers make it to the Super Bowl? Yes or no, EJ?
This is their year. I think they win it all this year. This is their year. It just feels like this is the year. It just feels like everything's trying to come together. The run game is, and it's not just Aaron Jones and Dylan. It's the defense playing much better this year. Aaron Rodgers is, I know there's a certain swag this year he has. That's
frisky.
It's not even frisky. He's on the fuck. I think he wants to win the Super Bowl badly. And I think when you add the NFC teams now, all the NFC teams right now, even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all flawed right now. I think this is the best chance for Aaron Rodgers to really get to the Super Bowl and win it all. Honestly, there's no, to me, they've been probably the best team in the league outside week one. The best team in the league from pretty much since the beginning of the year.
All right, Matt. Don't worry, Kyle. We'll get to your thoughts on this one because I see you got them.
Is the question: are they going to the Super Bowl?
Will the Green Bay Packers make it to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay. Kyle.
Gentlemen, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth on this already.
Mm-hmm.
Did we not establish as a quadumvirate, not a try, but a quadumvirate, that the 49ers would win the game against the Cowboys?
We did.
Say yes. Okay. Now.
Not Matt. Matt said the Cowboys.
I did pick the Cowboys.
He said the Cowboys.
Yeah,
yes.
Thank come on now.
Clarification. I always love using air quotes. EJ, you do know that. That's fair.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
So with that in mind, I'll say all of us with an asterisk for EJ's credit. After all, you're the baseball fan on the panel, so you're all about asterisks, right? Anyways,
that's funny.
The sixth seeded 49ers
Correct.
are going to advance. And since we all established that the Eagles are a complete and total waste of time, no offense.
None
No,
taken.
complete
You weren't talking to me.
I don't think so, Jim.
I don't think so, Tim.
So we've established that the Niners are going to be the lowest seeded team to win. Now,
Correct.
who currently has the bye week?
Green Bay.
The Packers.
Now, the four of us, as a quadumvirate, have also stated that the Packers have a express weakness against the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And we have also determined their path to be crossing the very same San Francisco 49ers. In another bracket, maybe they make it to the Super Bowl. In this one, they do not. You
That was
didn't
the
think
longest no I have ever heard.
That's the longest no I've ever heard.
So you're telling me right now that the Niners are going to go into the conference championship game?
That's what he just said.
Oh shit! I guess I just did.
Yeah,
that is what he.
I didn't think fourth dimensionally. Gosh, I'm not comfortable with that, but yeah, I'm sticking with it.
I'm saying. Well, here's the thing. I don't necessarily disagree with your logic on that. I think San Fran outside maybe Tampa, and I would honestly put both those teams in evenly in terms of like the matchup against Green Bay.
Yeah.
Has the best chance of being Green Bay. I don't think they will beat Green Bay. I think they will beat those teams this time, but I think the best chance of beating Green Bay are those two teams.
Like, can we? Gosh, you just helped me stumble onto something that I just now figured out. Like, we're putting together a scenario where the best case scenario for the Niners is actually occurring. So, like, if when they beat the Cowboys and Green Bay and they're in the conference championship, like, who would they be playing at that point?
Either the Bucs or the Rams.
Bucs or the Rams.
Okay. Beating a team 3 times in a row is tough. So I don't think that'll happen. And I'm not ballsy enough to pick the Niners over the Bucs. But man, it's gonna be a fun game.
Well, also too, the Rams have no home field advantage either against the Niners. Just for the record, they don't. In fact, you could argue Niners fans draw more than the Rams do at home. So as you saw,
interesting point. Thank you.
The Niners might draw more fans Sunday in Dallas than the Cowboys do.
I don't know.
What happened the last time the Niners came to Dallas?
Half and half.
Wow.
Okay. Then you go to the AFC. Do the number 1 seed Tennessee Titans make it? By the way, I say no to the Packers.
No.
Asked and answered is my response.
No. I guess the better question, though, Jim, really is where do they get tripped up? That's the question.
Everywhere.
First game they play.
Bengals or Raiders, they lose.
I think they beat the Raiders. I'm not sure they beat the Bengals.
You're high. If that's really your differential, do you think the Bengals have the defense to face a balanced offense? Really? Wow.
Well, no, I'm saying that the Bengals. First of all, the Bengals. If the Raiders get to play Tennessee, I don't know if the Raiders will beat Tennessee. I have my doubts there.
Okay, that's cool. That's what's confusing me. I'm not arguing with you. Just I don't get it.
I think Cincy has a better chance of beating Tennessee, in my opinion. But they got to get there. You said Vegas is going to beat Cincinnati. Therefore, your scenario is going to probably draw them going to Tennessee instead.
And with that defense in play, I think they have a better chance of stopping a balanced offense, which is what the Titans have.
I don't think the Raiders will stop Derrick Henry, personally.
Well, I mean, haven't the Raiders beaten the Chiefs in the past with a balanced offense?
And I'll look at it this way: even if the Patriots beat the Bills this week and would play the Titans in week 2, then you're looking at an AFC title game that would likely see the Titans play either the Bengals or the Chiefs. I don't see the Titans beating either of those.
Let's go, man. Stop it. Chiefs going to Super Bowl. Okay, stop.
Yes, we know, Chiefs fan.
Yeah, we understand how you feel about the Chiefs. We are well aware of how you feel about the Kansas City Chiefs.
I love you guys, dude. Seriously,
we know this.
The Kool-Aid Man's back.
Yeah. You said Kool-Aid Man. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
No, you don't. I wasn't ready.
Oh wow.
Oh, this is a fun one. Jason, once again, coming in hot. We're never gonna get off air if you keep asking good questions. Who would you really want to see in the Super Bowl? Oh, there's that realistically word. I don't like that.
Let's go.
What is it, EJ?
East Packers. Let's go.
Oh God, you're fucking lame.
Chalk.
Matt.
Next. Boring.
Yeah, I don't want to see. I don't want to see the Packers in. I think they make it. But I would.
Eagles. Shut up.
I wasn't gonna
he said realistically.
Yeah,
realistically.
Even if the Eagles would somehow upset the Bucks, that ends the ride for the Eagles once they get to Lambeau.
But that helps the Niners.
Oh yeah, the Rams.
I think Chiefs Rams is what I would like to see the most.
All right, Kyle.
Wow, that's a lot of high power offense and no beef. Ugh. What, do you eat tofu wings at your Super Bowl party too, Matt? Damn. No, joking
against tofu, EJ or Kyle. Sorry, I shouldn't be funny. You like
I'm just talking about the lack of beef. No, honestly, that would be a fun game, man. I'm not dissing it. It just wouldn't be my, as you see, my personal cuisine, so to speak. For my money, let's see. This is not a horrible question, actually. I appreciate you, Jason.
Great question.
You're making me think in a way I haven't had to think about in a while, and now I got to turn around and write an article after this. Good God. First world problems, I know. Right? Yes, the black and gold banneret. What can I say? Realistically, I mean, the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to get there because I think their path will suit them. But I mean, I don't want to see a rematch of Chiefs Niners already. We know how that ends. Patrick Mahomes goes all Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Calm down.
I would.
Camera lifted a little there, buddy.
And you're the one wearing the D hat. Anyways.
Oh my God.
I would like to see, you know what? After I narrow it through and the word realistically gets into play, I would like to see Chiefs Rams. Yeah, that's not a bad pick, actually. I'll just order the tofu wings this week. Make sure I have them for Sunday.
The wild thing in the AFC is I feel like almost in every option is realistic. I'll scratch maybe the Raiders.
I almost said the Bills. Actually, you know what? Can I say Bills Rams?
Sure.
No. Can I say Bills Niners? Ooh.
You can.
That would be beefy.
And because of the things that we've worked through, I don't think that you can necessarily pin that as unrealistic either. Like if we're saying the Niners can beat the Packers. And I mean,
the Cowboys.
Well, but that was the given. I don't think anybody was disputing that. But we said that the Niners are one of maybe two teams that could probably trip up Green Bay. So it's not unrealistic that they get there.
I'll put it this way, Jim. If you're about to tell me that the Niners could beat the Bucks, my camera's gonna lift. Okay.
I mean,
can we get a Super Bowl 15 rematch?
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Eagles Raiders
matchups that are realistic that I want to see. Bengals 49ers would be awesome.
Ooh.
No. Yeah. I don't think you heard what I said. Super Bowl 15. Eagles Raiders.
I thought you said 15.
No, 15. Right. Eagles Raiders.
No, shut up. What are you talking? What?
Do you not understand what realistically means?
I'm funny. God damn, man. What's going on?
Stop being so frisky. Jesus.
Yeah.
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
But give me 49ers, Rams, or Bucks versus the Bills or the Bengals. Those are the teams that I most want to see in. I think the Chiefs will probably get in, but I don't need to see the Chiefs in another Super Bowl.
Okay, there, Big Jim EJ impersonator. You gave me 5 teams. I'd like 2-1 from each conference.
And you blame me for having 40-something teams?
Hey, shut your face! I just gave him a hard time.
I said Bengals 49ers would be awesome.
Oh, okay, so that was it. Okay, got it.
Yes. But I'm saying out of the teams that are possible,
Shout out to Sam Weish.
What's that?
Shout out to Sam Weish, man. God, we're so close to beating the Niners in 89. God fucking Jay Rice.
All right, let's get out of here.
John Taylor.
Let's get out of here.
And don't forget about Joe Cool himself. Look, it's John Candy, bitch. What?
Mm-hmm.
Matt, let's start with you.
Yeah.
Plug away.
Yep, you can follow me on Twitter. It's at 3CT Affiliate. You can hear me on Thursdays at 3 Count Thursday Wrestling Podcast. Other than that, I guess go Birds. Last week I'll get to say it.
EJ, go ahead.
EJ7 on Twitter. Earth Speaker Podcast Network got a bunch of shows. Of course, Football's Awesome just dropped today. A long one, actually. 3 segments totaling over 2 hours, but worth to listen. And I guess that's it. And I don't know. Go. Who am I waiting for in the playoffs? Go Chiefs.
EJ, we don't need to be here another 2 hours. Tell us who you don't want to see.
He's checking.
Hey. Okay. Bye, Joe Judge. Next.
There we go. Kyle, go ahead.
Shouts to Big Jim for allowing me to end an episode by saying, "Look, it's John Candy, bitch." That's something I never would have thought was going to happen. And here we are. Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my work, as I said I'm about to go do somehow. With the black and gold banneret, writing up UCF women's basketball, also covering a men's basketball game tomorrow night as well. Your boy's busy. What can I say? I'm not recording this week because I said basketball game, but look for another drop of my YouTube channel with Demosthenes Euclid, hilarity by default. Listen, our Christmas special was delayed. We were going to review Eyes Wide Shut for you, an obvious Christmas movie, as there's 22 Christmas trees throughout it. And YouTube is being a pain in the butt. 17 times he tried to upload it, couldn't get it in there. So, maybe he needs to borrow your hat to get it in there. Anyways, so EJ is working on it. The next episode will drop as soon as EJ works through all that crap. But at some point, he did want to have to spend some time with his girl over the holiday. Can you blame him? Mm-hmm. And but yeah, we'll be back recording next week, nonetheless, while we're working on getting that episode going. So yeah. Honor, joy, and privilege, gentlemen. But until next time, class dismissed.
All right, you can. He's having as much trouble with the YouTube channel as I am with the podcast feed for this show.
Yeah.
We are still aware of the issues. Working on getting it resolved. For now, stick to the YouTube page for Huddle Up. We will get the issue resolved. Put it out on our social media when that the feed does get back up as normal on all podcast platforms. Make sure you check out the merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Best place to find it, the weekly shows as of right now. Make sure you check out our home network, NGSC Sports, at ngscsports.com. Thank you to Jason. Thank you to Devin for tuning in tonight. The great questions and interaction with us. We do appreciate that here on the show. Make sure you follow us on social media. Facebook and Twitter is at Huddle Up Podcast. Instagram is at Huddle Up Pod. Enjoy the playoff games. We'll be back to make sense of it, or at least attempt to, once again next week. And until then, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the win.